Welcome everyone. In this video, we are going to be diving into my top 3 best teams for the Halloween Cup. Now guys, the Halloween Cup has always been one of my favorite specialty cups in Pokemon Go Battle League. And it is set to drop tomorrow afternoon at the normal time that leagues typically reset. And it should be tons of fun. If you guys are familiar with my tier list on the specialty cups, you will know how highly I think of the Halloween Cup. It is definitely one of the best specialty cups that you could play in Pokemon Go Battle League, and that's because it is one of the more balanced specialty cups. You don't get any crazy, wacky imbalances too often in the Halloween Cup. Which makes for a nice, fun, pleasant specialty cup to play in. And that's going to be dropping alongside the Master League. So with the Open Master League, it's not the most accessible league around. So I know most of us will be playing in the Halloween Cup. So I thought, why not put out a teams list to help you guys along, set you up for success, and to have tons of fun in it. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Halloween Cup, it is at the Great League CP limit, which is 1,500 or less, and you can only have Dark, Ghost, Fairy, Bug, and Poison types. So, very, very balanced meta. Tons of fun. I always have a fun time in the Halloween Cup. But without further ado, guys, let's dive right into this list here. All right, guys, here we go. Team number 1. And this is a very strong team for sure in the Halloween Cup. And it leads with Jellicent on the lead. Alolan Ninetales as your safe swap, running Powder Snow, Weather Ball, and Dazzling Gleam, and Wigglytuff in the back to close the game strong. This is a very powerful team. If you're looking for just a solid team to play, maybe you're new to the Halloween Cup, maybe you don't want to play too risky and go super spicy, this is a solid team to run in the Halloween Cup. Jellicent is a very powerful lead in the Halloween Cup. Of course, you want nothing to do with those dark types like Mandibuzz, like Sableye, like Umbreon. There are going to be tons of very strong dark types in this meta, and for that reason, we've got 2 strong fairy types behind Jellicent. So let's have a look at this scorecard here. Here we go. All right, looking pretty good, guys. This is a solid scorecard here. We've got a solid A for coverage. Got very, very good coverage on the meta. A B for bulk. Jellicent is on the bulkier side. Alolan Ninetales has solid bulk as well, especially if you have a PvP optimized Alolan Ninetales, and Wigglytuff is not too bad either. And we get a solid C for safety, and that is because this is a classic ABB line, whereas Jellicent being a ghost type, you want to really catch those poison type leads. And if you're met with a bad or a neutral lead, you're going to safe swap into Alolan Ninetales. So typically ABB-style teams don't get the highest safety score on PvPoke, as it does have a tendency to favor balanced teams, and that is quite all right. And consistency, you get a solid B. So very solid scorecard for team number 1 here. Let's have a look at these matchups here. And here we go, guys. So Jellicent being a ghost type, again, as I mentioned, wants nothing to do with those strong dark types. And as we see, we're going to be losing to Mandibuzz, of course, but we've got 2 strong answers to Mandibuzz. You're going to swap out of those dark leads into Alolan Ninetales. Now, I kind of debated what coverage move I should recommend for Alolan Ninetales on the safe swap, and honestly, I think it's sort of how your play style is. You could definitely make a strong case for running Psyshock on the safe swap, because you can bet the bottom dollar that they're going to swap in a poison type onto you. And depending on what that subtyping is on that poison type, Psyshock could really come in handy, because with Powder Snow, you can generate energy at a very fast rate with Alolan Ninetales, and you will get to those Psyshocks at a very fast rate. The most common poison type that you may see swapped onto you, would be Nidoqueen. So Weather Ball Ice would be just fine for Nidoqueen. But if they swap in a poison bug type like Ariados or Beedrill, that's where you can make a strong case for Psyshock. So I would say give both a try. It's going to be around for a little while and see which one works best for you. But Amanda Buzz on the lead, you're going to swap out into Alolan Ninetales. Try and draw out that poison type or a fire type like Alolan Marowak or maybe even Incineroar. Incineroar does qualify this time around. And that way you can come back in with Jellicent and take out that fire type. That way Wigglytuff can have a fun time in the end for you. Nidoqueen lead, you're going to dominate. That is why we run Jellicent on the lead. For those poison type leads like Nidoqueen, like Golbat, like Ariados and Beedrill, Jellicent has a great time against the strong poison types, of course. And so Nidoqueen, those poison types you're staying in on all day. An interesting one is Wormadam Trash. That one is going to be an interesting Pokemon that you may run into quite a bit. You may see it on the lead, and that is just because a lot of people may be running strong ice types like Alolan Ninetales, like Frostlass. And Jellicent will do just fine against Wormadam. If you're going to run into a steel type, you definitely want to see it on the lead. And that's what Alolan Ninetales is for as well, is to draw out any hard counter that Wigglytuff won't want to see. What else? Crustle, we're going to have a fun time against. Jellicent is very powerful in the Halloween Cup. As you can see, all of these purple X's means that Jellicent has a solid win over, and of course the circles are losses. So we can see that we have plenty of purple X's. Jellicent's going to be a super strong lead. Another bad lead type that you'll see are the Shadow Claw users like Sableye, like Trevenant, like Cofagrigus. Jellicent wants nothing to do with the Shadow Claw users. So you will swap out into your Ninetales on those as well. As we can see, Sableye dominates Jellicent pretty easily. You're not going to have a fun time on the Drapion leads. It is a little bit manageable with Alolan Ninetales because you do outpace. The pacing profile on Alolan Ninetales for Weather Ball is 5-4-5-4, and it does alternate back and forth. So Drapion's going to take a team effort. The Poison Dark types as a whole will take a team effort, but it can be done for sure. You can really weaken it with Alolan Ninetales with that spammy Powder Snow Weather Ball combination and get it pretty low. You're not going to win that. You could win some of them in the two shield scenario. Depends on how aggressive you really want to get. But it's a team effort for Poison Dark types like Drapion, like Alolan Muck, and the occasional Skuntank that you may see. That is team number one. Pretty solid team. Should have a fun time with in the Halloween Cup. Get a solid A for coverage, B for bulk, C for safety, and a strong B for consistency. That is team number one. You don't get much better than that. And with all that said, let's have a look at team number two. All right, guys, we've got team number two here. And this is yet another very strong and powerful team for the Halloween Cup. And it runs Azumarill on the lead, running Bubble, Ice Beam, and Play Rough. Sableye is your safe swap. And Nidoqueen in the back to close the game strong. Very strong, balanced team for the Halloween Cup. Another solid team. Again, if you want to just play and not risk it too much and get to outside of the bounds of what is meta, this team might be for you. And a very strong, balanced team as well. So let's have a look at the scorecard. And here we go, guys. Very, very, very strong, solid scorecard for this team. You get an A for coverage. You get a B for bulk, a B for safety, and a B for consistency. That is amazing. All three of these Pokemon are very powerful. You got some very, very good bulk between Azumarill and Nidoqueen. And Sableye is an absolute powerhouse. It is able to flip switch advantage like you wouldn't believe. Very strong team. Not only in the Great League, but also in the Halloween Cup as well, as all three of these Pokemon qualify. So with Azumarill on the lead, you can expect to see a lot of Mandibuzz leads. Mandibuzz is currently ranked #1 on PvPoke overall. And nothing shuts down a Mandibuzz quite like Azumarill, guys. So Azumarill is going to be a powerful lead, even with a type disadvantage, like up against Nidoqueen. As you can see here with the recommended moveset, you have a narrow victory over Nidoqueen. Now this is XL Azumarill. The non-XL version does struggle against Nidoqueen a little bit more. But most of us by now have an XL Azumarill. So this is based on the XL version. The XL version does have a narrow victory over Nidoqueen on the lead, which is another very strong lead that you are bound to see in the Halloween Cup. Those Golbat leads you're going to do just fine on. You're staying in on. So with this team, you want to swap out, of course, on the strong poison types. Even with the Nidoqueen, although you do win that, you'll want to stay in there a little bit. Try and grab a shield with the threat of an Ice Beam. Either you want to grab a shield advantage or a health advantage before making a play into Sableye, because Sableye in a fresh matchup against Nidoqueen does lose in the 2-shield, as we see there with the blue circle. So you want to play it out a little bit. Either grab a shield or grab some health with the first Ice Beam, and then you'll want to make a play in the Sableye on the Nidoqueen leads. Golbat, similar situation. Sableye does have a better time against Golbat, but it's better if you can grab a shield or grab some health on the Golbat, as with the Nidoqueen with the threat of the super effective Ice Beam. That's how I would play those two particular leads with Azumarill. The mirror matchup is a little tricky because you want to preserve some health on your Azumarill, so you want to play that out a little bit, get it to about 50% health, and then make a play into Sableye. That's how I would play the mirror matchup. And these bug steel types are really, really rated highly on PvPoke, along with Mawile, which, although they're rated super high, I don't think you'll see a ton of them, to be honest, guys. The most common steel type that you're gonna see is Wormadam Trash, and it's pretty close with Azumarill. I'm not sure how it's reconciling this narrow loss with Azumarill, most likely because it's resisting your charge move pressure, but you're also resisting its charge move pressure, so not sure how they're reconciling that. I think Azumarill might edge it out, but that's a tricky one. So you can play that out a little bit, but I would make a play into Sableye at some point on the Wormadam Trash leads. Again, the safest play on something like that would be to get it down to about 50% health, and then go into your Sableye and play from there. Alolan Ninetales is a narrow loss. Alolan Ninetales is going to take a team effort, but the recommended moveset is Powder Snow for your fast move, along with, of course, Weather Ball and Dazzling Gleam. Their only prayer is to really set up that Dazzling Gleam, so they're going to have to bait your Azumarill if you do find it on the lead. But by then, you'll be able to get off at least one play rough on that Alolan Ninetales, and it's not likely that they would shield it, as Alolan Ninetales has some very nice bulk, so a lot of players know that they can tank some damage. So I would try to get off the play rough. You can tank the Dazzling Gleam if you want, and then look to make a play into Nidoqueen on Alolan Ninetales. Crustle, you're going to stay in there all day. Mawile, you're going to do just fine against all three of these Pokemon. Beat Mawile pretty easily. That's another one that's rated really high on PvPoke, and it's good to know that you have a strong team that can handle Mawile no matter where she lands in terms of alignment. Of course, the dark types, you're staying in there all day, with the exception of the dark poison types, of course, the pure dark types like Umbreon. Obstagoon, Scrafty, Mandibuzz, those are the ones you're going to want to stay in there and win lead on. The dark poisons are a little trickier, and we'll get to that in just a second. But Frostlass is another team effort. You can try and get off a play rough. They're gonna either shield or tank it. If they tank it, it'll do tons of damage. The goal on some of these narrow lead losses is to get it down to about 50% health before making a play into your Sableye. Sableye, of course, has a solid victory over Frostlass, especially with a health or shield advantage. Skuntank is gonna have some narrow losses to all three Pokemon. All three of these can handle Skuntank as well. And Sableye, you're gonna stay in there and play that out with, of course. Jellicent is another one of those where you're gonna want to either grab some health or grab a shield with Azumarill on the lead, and then look to make a play into Sableye. Drapion, you can swap out immediately into your Sableye and play that out. It is a narrow victory for Sableye, but that's what Sableye is for on the safe swap, is to get out of there. You're not really looking to get out of there with tons of health on the safe swap. But Drapion is not one that you'll want to stay in on. Definitely make a play into Sableye. Try and grab some shields with the threat of the hard-hitting return. You're going to have to bait a couple of times, at least one time, maybe two on Drapion to really get off that return, but you can win that. Alolan Muck, it's recommended that they run Poison Jab, so that's not one, again, that you'll want to stay in on. Again, that's one where you'll want to... Their only play with Alolan Muck is to just go straight Acid Spray. And in that case, you can tank one. It's going to take them 7 Poison Jabs to get to an Acid Spray. So by then, you can get off at least one Ice Beam on the Alolan Muck before making a play into Sableye. Alolan Muck is not nearly as bulky in the Great League format as it is in the Ultra League, so you might actually grab a shield with Azumarill on lead. But at some point, you are going to want to get out of there because once they get off those acid sprays, it's really going to start adding up in terms of damage onto your Azumarill. Beedrill, that's another one you want to get out of there immediately on into Sableye. Alolan Marowak you can stay in. Wigglytuff, that's one that it's a bit risky to try and swap into Nidoqueen because that is your best answer. You generally want to go in with your soft counter than your hard counter. So Wigglytuff, I would stay in there. You're bulky enough to withstand that charm damage with Stab to where you can leave that matchup on the winning end. It's going to be close against Wigglytuff lead, which is a lead that you'll probably run into quite a bit. But you can definitely take that with Azumarill on the lead. So that is team number 2. Very strong, solid team for the Halloween Cup. Again, for those of you who are new to the Halloween Cup and you're just getting your feet wet in Pokemon Go Battle League, this is a fairly safe and solid team to go with. For those of you who are new, this is a solid team to consider. And for those of you who don't really want to get too spicy, this is a solid team to play in the Halloween Cup for sure. So that is team number 2. Azumarill on the lead, Sableye safe swap, and Nidoqueen in the back. Very strong team. And with all that said, let's dive into team number 3. All right, guys, last but certainly not least, we've got team number 3. The tried and true Nidoqueen Double Dark line. You don't get much better. This is a classic line by now throughout all of Pokemon Go Battle League, not just to the Halloween Cup, although I believe it may have had its birth in the Halloween Cup in the very early stages. But Nidoqueen Double Dark is tried and true, time-tested. You could see it, or Poison Double Dark, I should say. You could see it in a number of different ways, but the classic version that you often see is Nidoqueen on the lead, Sableye is your safe swap, and Scrafty in the back, which would qualify. Scrafty would absolutely qualify for the Halloween Cup, but I'm going to recommend Obstagoon, guys, because you absolutely shut down any potential ghost type in the meta. Scrafty does extremely well against the ghost types, don't get me wrong, but Obstagoon is just a little bit better because you are triple resisting any ghost type fast move pressure. You're also able to fight back against the strong dark types in this meta. I like Obstagoon a little bit better, also because you get to your dark type moves a little bit faster than Scrafty. So I like Obstagoon a little bit better in the Halloween Cup over Scrafty. But if you don't have an Obstagoon, or if you're more comfortable with Scrafty, you could absolutely go the Scrafty route as well. So the idea with this classic ABV line is on neutral or losing leads, you're going to save swap into Sableye to draw out the pesky Charmer that's always lurking in the back. That's what the goal of this team is. That way Nidoqueen can come back in, shred right through that Charmer, and you should have a good game from there. So very solid team here on team number 3. Let's have a look at the scorecard here. Decent scorecard. This is not bad at all. You get a strong B for coverage. You get a C for bulk just because Sableye is not the bulkiest around. It does bring that bulk score down a little bit, but that is not really a big deal at all, as we know how powerful Sableye can be. And you get a B for safety and a strong A for consistency. Very solid team for the Halloween Cup. Very fun team as well. So let's have a look at these matchups here. And Nidoqueen on the lead is going to be very strong. Of course, Mandibuzz on the lead, you're going to have a narrow victory over. Nidoqueen with that Poison Jab, Poison Fang combination is quite lethal, as we all may know by now. You have a narrow victory on Mandibuzz, which you're bound to run into. You're going to see Mandibuzz quite a bit, so just to let you know beforehand here. So it's good to know that Nidoqueen does win over Mandibuzz. You will see a lot of it. The Nidoqueen mirror match is a little tricky. It's a bit risky to stay in on because that's your only fairy type counter, as having 2 dark types in the back. So you're going to get out of there on the Nidoqueen mirror matchups on the lead, get into Sableye, and look to play that out from there. Golbat, you're going to do okay on. That's another one of those sort of risky ones to stay in on. Although you do win it, it's very narrow, and it's not worth losing all of your health on your Nidoqueen. I would just go into Sableye immediately on a potential Golbat lead. Azumarill says you have a narrow loss, but you're gonna want to stay in there and really weaken that Azumarill. You can tank an Ice Beam, but you'll want to get off a couple of Poison Fangs and really weaken that Azumarill before making a play into Sableye. Azumarill lead, it's going to be a team effort between both Nidoqueen and Sableye to get rid of that Azumarill, as it is lights out for Obstagoon. For Azumarill, you don't want your Obstagoon anywhere near an Azumarill. So team effort between Nidoqueen and Sableye. Wormadam Trash, you're getting out of there because Wormadam Trash runs Confusion, and Nidoqueen has a very strong Achilles heel. So you want to get out of there into your Sableye. That's the beauty of having 2 dark types on this team, is you are double resisting the Confusion damage. Fortress, that's another one of those that you're not going to want to mess around with too much. The safe play is to just go immediately into Sableye safe swap on a Fortress. I don't think you'll see too many Fortresses, but it is possible. You never know. Alolan Ninetales, you can stay in there a little bit. You can tank a Weather Ball. It's going to bring you down. It's going to do about maybe 35 to 40% of your health. And that Poison Jab damage really does shred. It's recommended that they run Powder Snow. So if it's Powder Snow, you can stay in a little bit, try and get off a Poison Fang, but you're going to want to get out of there because that Powder Snow damage really does start to add up. If it's Charm, it's a whole different story. You can stay in there all day. In fact, you will want to stay in there all day on Charm Alolan Ninetales. But Powder Snow, you're going to want to get off a Poison Fang and then get out of there. Crustle, you're staying in there all day. Nidoqueen dominates Crustle. All 3 of these Pokemon have solid victories over Mawile. So you can rest assured that those potential Mawiles that you may see have really nowhere to go with this team. Umbreon is a very tricky one. That's one that you may have to soft lose lead on. If you want to play it safe, you could try and play that out a little bit, but Umbreon is just so darn bulky. You can't really safe swap into Sableye either. Maybe after a few Poison Fangs, you could then, the Umbreon will be low enough and weakened enough to where Sableye can come in. But the safer play would be to just come in with Obstagoon, as Obstagoon serves as a decent safe swap as well. So that's how I would get off a few Poison Fangs, get it to about 50% health, and then go into Obstagoon. That's the safest play for Umbreon lead. And be careful of those sneaky Community Day Umbreons. They're building up to 5 Snarls. It is worth a shield because Psychic does one-shot Nidoqueen. So just a pro tip for you there. And Frostlass, you're fine just to safe swap out of those. Both Pokemon in the back can handle Frostlass, no problem. Skuntank, you can stay in there. They're going to be really afraid of the potential Earth Power. You can play that out a little bit with Skuntank. You can actually play that till the end because you do win that. Sableye as well. Try and get off a Poison Fang and then get into your Obstagoon. Or you could go into your own Sableye because with that debuff, they're not going to stay in there. You'll want to draw out that Charmer at some point if they do have one. Jellicent, both Pokemon handle Jellicent. You're getting the heck out of there. Jellicent is a nightmare matchup for Nidoqueen. And Drapion, all 3 Pokemon have a decent time against Drapion. Nidoqueen is your strongest answer, so you can stay in there, play that out. You're going to have to bait with a Poison Fang and then look to set up that hard-hitting Earth Power, which will absolutely one-shot Drapion. Same goes for Alolan Muk. All of the dark poison types, you're going to have to bait a shield with a Poison Fang and then look to get off that Earth Power. Beedrill, it's a tricky lead because, of course, most Beedrills are running the community move of Drill Run, which doesn't one-shot Nidoqueen, but it's not fun to tank one of those. But the threat of the neutral Earth Power is enough to draw some shields from a Beedrill, and then you can look to make a play into your Sableye. So I would bait with a Poison Fang and then look to get out of there into your Sableye. Alolan Marowak, you don't stay in there on that. You got 2 solid answers to Alolan Marowak on your team, so I would swap out immediately. And of course, those charm leads like Wigglytuff, you're staying in there all day. They're going to swap out for sure, and then you can maintain alignment because they will give you switch advantage. And that is team number 3, guys, the classic Poison Double Dark line. My recommendation is Nidoqueen on the lead, Sableye safe swap, and Obstagoon to close the game strong. And that about wraps it up for my top 3 best teams for the Halloween Cup. Halloween Cup is going to be tons of fun. My favorite specialty cup, the most balanced in my opinion. Glad to see it come back around. Halloween's coming around early this time of year, at least for Pokemon Go Battle League. And will be tons of fun. So I hope you all enjoyed. And if you did, do give the video a like. That truly is the best way to really help the channel out. If you enjoyed the video, let YouTube know, guys. Hit that like button. Really let YouTube know that you liked it. That way they can recommend it to others that might also like it. But I had a blast, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.